Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm sure here in Ireland it's 10 a.m. and you're back with me on conversation with Susanna. Today we are continue episode 2 of the 4 series masterclass on African identity. So we started last week our masterclass on African identity. What is your identity as an African? How do you carry yourself as an African? What is your own definition of African identity? And how do you portray yourself as an African? So the identity that we carry as African, is it uh, how does it influence our lives? So we have a masterclass that we are having. We started last week. We did our first episode on defining what African identity means with us. We had a guest with us, which was Dr. Olusegun Murakinyo of the African Heritage here in Ireland, was our first guest. Today, I have another guest with me that we're going to have this conversation alongside with on the 4 series masterclass on African identity. And at our second episode today, we're going to exploit African psychology. So what is African psychology? How do you define it? So as we go live with my guest, Joseph Karanja. Joseph Karanja is all the way from Kenya joining us. He's going to introduce himself to us. He's a Pan-Africanist. He is, is a young, vibrant African with all the African idea or Africanity living in him. And he's going to join me in this conversation today. And as we began the conversation, we're inviting you guys out there to join us. You can join us live. You can come into the studio if you want to. I'll share the link with you guys so that in case you decide you want to come into the studio and just share some of your opinion, you can send your questions on our Facebook page. We're live on Facebook. You can send us your questions on our YouTube channel, and you can also send us questions on Twitter. So right now we're on three channels. We're live on 3 channels, and we're reaching out to our audience. And you're welcome to join us in the studio if you want to, and you can send us your question. So here again, I go and I welcome my guest. Hello.
Hello, my sister. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you, Joseph?
I'm good. Thank you very much. You're looking amazing.
Thank you so much. I'm going to let you introduce yourself. So introduce yourself to, we have people already watching us. Guys, share with your friends. Share it with your friends while as we go along. So introduce yourself to the audience.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. As you have said, my name is Joseph Karanja Wamboi, and I go with this name, Karanja Afreekahn. Karanja Afreekahn is a name I'm using for this mission to spread the gospel of unity, or, what you can say, the message of unity and ubuntu. And today we can speak about psychology, and identity and social engineering. I mean, I'm not a professional in this area, but I have my ideas or my opinions on this area, and I wish the psychologists and the people who have studied this discipline can really enter into it and bring their contribution towards uniting Africa.
Thank you, Karanja. First, tell us about this, your vision that you just mentioned to us there. Tell us about what this vision is.
Yes, the vision, the 12-12 vision with the alarm, yeah?
Exactly.
Yeah, so this vision was after George Floyd death, and it was what I saw like a formula that can help us solve the puzzle of unity, how to group or how to unite and how to come together. It came to me like a really clear picture, or like a really clear, detailed information that I received after some time of seeking. And it is about using the number 12 And this number, I just received it in, like seeing a vision. You just see a vision from nowhere. Just a number comes in your head. And I was just asking, how can we solve this? And the number 12 came. And then the idea of Ubuntu was like, let people start grouping into 12s, in groups of 12s. Like they can start organizations, they can start cooperatives, they can start self-help groups, or they can just try to be like, you know what I mean with self-help groups. So like 12 people can support each other and each other's initiatives and market and, do everything for one another. So using this number. And then the alarm of 1212 came because at this time when I got this vision, when I looked at my phone, when I wanted to grab my phone and go in the laptop and start, writing it in Pan-African forums and my Facebook and my WhatsApp, I saw the time was 12:12 on the screen. So this time, then something else, another information came that said, set an alarm to remember this and let everyone set this alarm at 12:12 such that it will be a reminder. And when this alarm is like a covenant, and when this alarm rings, let people say, I am because we are. So this is what was coming in my head, like use number 12 and then set this alarm for this time, because that was what was on my screen, and when it rings, just say, I am because we are. So it's like an affirmation of unity. Yeah.
So that is something that as African, either in the diaspora or back in our motherland, this is something where at this time everybody is talking about African unity, that it is time for us to unite together as Africans within the continent itself. With what you said now, I feel that is a prophecy. It looks as if it is a prophecy that has been given unto you. And the prophecy, to me, I feel it aligns with what the vision is at this moment in the world. Because everywhere you go, people are shouting for African unity. We want to unite together. It is time for us to unite, because most of these countries that we have within the continent of Africa, we're divided by the Western world. Even though we were all over, but there was a kind of unity between us. And that is what we are calling for back. So I believe that was a prophecy to you. To be, I believe it is a prophecy for you to carry. And I think the fact that everybody is talking about it should reaffirm it to you what your vision should be like. And so at least to make that vision clear, that clarity within your vision, that yes, it's all about uniting us together as African. So that will take me to the question. My second question today is to say, in my own organization, at the African History Education Center for African Studies, we hope to redefine this concept of loss of identity in the Africans in diaspora. You are based in diaspora. I know you're from Kenya, but you're based in diaspora yourself. So can you tell me, do you think, what is your thoughts on this loss of African identity between Africans in diaspora?
So the Africans who are in diaspora, not all of them may have already lost their connection with the motherland or their identity. Some are still, holding on, and many are still trying to, change and fit in the, where you go, because we were also raised being told that when you go to Rome, you go as Romans, you go and do as Romans do, so you can understand it's coming, it's deep, all this stuff is psychological. You grow up being, prepared for, stuff like this. So when you won't be surprised when you find people who are like trying to, fit in a certain society, because it is said, when you go to Rome, do as Romans, do. But what I would say is that we need to really, reflect back and realize who you are, because no matter how much you try to fit in, you have your own roots and identity, and the world has already a view. They already have a picture of you, and they have already like a profile of you. So even no matter how much you try, you will have to do a lot of work to change the mentality on the world, to how to see you. So you find that it's a losing battle, because the more you try to run away from yourself, trying to fit in, the more you lose, the more you lack ground. So I would encourage people to stand on their ground and be proud of who they are. Yes, it's good to, when you go place, you try to live like the people are living, but don't forget yourself. Don't get lost, or don't drown. Have your ground and stand your ground and have that connection with yourself, because this is empowerment. And that's why you find people who are also really progressing. They use their languages. They use like their mother tongue. You find like these very strong countries, they use their mother tongues. Like they don't rush to completely take English and forget everything. Like China invested in their language, in their culture. That's why they rose, like, because when you ground yourself in your tradition, in yourself, you accept yourself, then you are destined for success, and you are going to. No one can beat you in your own ground. But
Yes.
when you are all over trying, when you go all over trying to be this, be that, then you have no ground, and you can never be another person. So the other person has tricked you to try to be them. So at this moment, trying to be them, they beat you in this struggle, in the game. But if you remained as you couldn't be beaten.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karanja. I just wanted to chip in there. Somebody said on Facebook, losing battle, indeed, that it's a lost battle if you're trying to fit in into if you are trying to fit in and forgetting about your own identity. And I will say to that is that why do you want to fit in when you can stand out? Why do you want to fit in when you can stand out? Because you're who you are. Stand out. Let the world knows you. Embrace your identity as an African person. Don't try to fit in into anything, because like our comment on Facebook said, Sir Felix the Zamara said, it's a losing battle, totally a lost battle if you're trying. Thank you very much for that comment there, the Zamara. Thank you so much for that comment. That it's totally a lost battle. So there's a question there for you. I'll just take the question as it goes, and we can go back to our own questions. So it says, when is the rhetoric of the Let's Unite as African going to be implemented? So what that question is saying is that this idea of unity that we're talking about as Africans, when is this going to be implemented?
Yes, this is the question. This is a big question. We always speak about unity, and we know that unity is strength. But unfortunately, we are not united, and you wonder why, yet we know. So what I say to this question, the answer is that the common sense, because, this is common sense, like unity is power. But unfortunately, common sense is not common practice. And this question, how you can ask, you can merge it with this alarm, this practice, the common practice of setting an alarm of unity, no matter where you are. You see, because when we speak about African unity, what are we talking about? What do you think? What kind of unity are you imagining in your brain? What do you want to see? You want to see Africa become one country, or you want what are you waiting for? You want us to have one currency? You want us to speak one language? What are you speaking about? So you realize, yes, Swahili in the place of language, people are, there's a plan to make Swahili the regional language. And but until when are all these dialects in Africa, over 2,000 dialects, when are they going to all speak Swahili? You realize it's a matter of time.
I think that is a lost battle as well. No, I buy into the idea of unity. The idea of unity is one thing that I buy into, but the idea of one language is never going to happen. That's what I think. And I feel that I feel that we can, I feel there's no need. Okay, I understand the fact that in Africa we can choose to have like one language that everybody speaks, but you still retain your dialect. If that is what they are saying, that you keep your dialect, but there's one, the way in the Western world, some parts of Western world, English is a spoken language by everyone, and then they still have their own type of dialect that they do speak in every other Western European country, but English is put in the front line. We can recommend one language in African continent, but I think it might not be Swahili, but it could be Swahili as well. So it could be any other language. But if you look at the continent of Africa, we are the second largest in the world. Second largest in the world. So I think it's going to be a battle to come up with one language. Now we might have more than one language, and then we give people the chance to learn it. So we could end up choosing. I always say that you choose 4 languages, because the way we have regions. We have the north of Africa, we have the west of Africa, we have the east of Africa, and we have the south of Africa. I think that is where we should start from. We can pick 4 languages that represent the south, the west, the east, and the north. And we get everybody to learn that. And we can build on that and build on that together. And I think that it could be the beginning of this unity that we're talking about. But at the same time, for me, when we talk about unity, when we're talking about unity, it doesn't have to be one language, one this, one that. Unity should be about strength, just like you said. And it's about us agreeing together. It's, to have an agreement and to stand with that agreement. And that is what unity means to me. You understand? Because, see, if any place that there's an agreement, any community, any society, any friendship, any relationship of more than one person, whereby you have an agreement and you all understand what that agreement is, you understand that language within that agreement, and you all stay together and agree on that, you have a good chance of succeeding. And when there's an agreement, God will come within that agreement and manifest it for us. And that is what unity means. Because if you remember in the Bible, when we had the what will I say now? When the people were building, when they were trying to build a building to go to heaven.
The Tower of Babel.
Yes, the Tower of Babel. Yeah. Now, within that story, they all came together. They all spoke one language. That is what we believe. What we were made to believe based on that narrative. One thing that unites them is that they all agreed. They all agreed to build that tower. There was an agreement between them that we're going to build a tower. And that agreement became their strength. And they all came together and they started doing it. And if you read the Bible, when God saw what they were doing, when he realized that they've all agreed together, because that shows the unity in them, that shows the power, that shows the strength. and they all stayed on that focus. Let's say myself and you, we agree that we want to change the world today, and we're both working together without straining or allowing anybody to come between us. There's power in that. There's strength in that, because we have a focus, we stay with it. God even realized how powerful they are, because he realized the unity that was between them. He realized that unity brings about strength, and it gives them power. That God had to say, no, we have to stop this. Because
sometimes it sounds ridiculous. Sometimes these topics, sometimes I feel like we put God in some situation whereby you are wondering, is God a man? Like, is he surprised? Is he not? I mean, sometimes I'm like, huh?
But if you look at it, when God created us, he saw the strength in us. The Bible says that after creating us, seeing it, it was like, wow, what is this? So that story of Towel shows that God understands how powerful we could be when we are united and have that strength together.
But that sorry, let me cut you short. But that means that God was surprised, and God should not be surprised. And and also
that was the way it was. If you read that story, God was like, "What is happening?" And the Bible made us believe that God came down to come and have a look.
And when you speak about the Bible, and sometimes I like discussing, like, critically thinking about the Bible, because sometimes you wonder,
we have to be critical, yeah.
Why would God not give these people another idea? God can do anything. Why just give these people so many languages, if that is where the languages came from? Why not just give them another idea? Just change their mind, the intention of building this house. Just leave the language as one.
No. You have to understand one thing. God has given us a free will.
But this shows with.
Yes, I know. It shows. It gives us a free will. But what I wanted to bring out of that story, just to buttress the points that you've mentioned, and what our viewers are talking about unity, is that when we unite, there's strength in us. And there's power in us.
Yeah.
And it's so strong that, even that we call God's attention to us. Do you know what I mean? It pays attention to us when we unite together. So that's what I want to say. And that was what that story made us to believe, that it pays. And we believes that either you are whatever you think you are, as human being, as Africans, one thing that we believe as African is that God exists. Now, I know that this, and that is part of what we're talking about when we talk about African psychologies. Now, in Africa, before we have the Western, before we have, people think Christianity was not in Africa before the Western world came to colonize us. That is a lie. Because if you read the Bible, you will see that Christianity has always been part of Africa.
I would say maybe
we might not call it Christians then. We might not call them Christian, but Africa has always had faith in God.
Yeah,
Africans have always had faith in God.
You can relate with the various tribes and the various traditions, and how they used to pay their respect to divinity, and how they used to, the concept of God. Every people had their own way of, how they observed this concept of divinity. But the Bible also brings us also another concept. When it comes to this discussion, to this discussion of God and the Bible, and how to generalize the idea of God, I usually like to slow it down, because
you see, there's nothing wrong in us being critical, what we are talking about today is African psychology. What is our psychology as African?
And
Now,
actually, let me cut you short. The idea of God also is playing a really big role in the in the psychology of Africans, because you realize the mainstream idea of God is the father of Jesus. Yeah. So this is the mainstream, and you know how Jesus is presented looking like, and that already, creates a psychological idea. It tells you, it already puts in you how God is looking like. And so, this topic can go really deep and so critical, and some people don't like questioning it, and don't want to, because you can understand it's also coming from a psychological point of view.
If you are an African person, there's nothing wrong in questioning it, and there's no sin in questioning it, because as African, we are spiritual. We talk about African spirituality, and that's another topic, not for today. But in Africa, we believe in God. We've always believed in God. I'm from Nigeria. I'm a Yoruba person, and as a Yoruba person, we believe in God. We call God Olodumare. We have a name for God. We believe that this is a supreme being. So we've always believed in God. We've always worshipped God. We've always acknowledged God. In my own traditional belief, and this is what we can't take that away from us. We can't take this idea of divine of the spirituality. You can never say you are Africa and not be spiritual. If you call yourself African and you're not spiritual, then you're not African. Because as Africans, the idea of God has always been part of our origin. Like, we have gods that we use to connect to God. Like in my own language, as a Yoruba person, in my own tradition belief, they have gods. They have different type of gods. And these gods are the one that they use as a means of communicating with God. With God. So the supreme God. So, for example, there was something we spoke about last time. There's this word in my language. That is why I'm saying this idea of language, it's something that goes deeper and deeper. So having one language, it's going to take a lot, because it will totally change our psychology as Africans. It should change our perception of even who we are. So there's this word in my language, which is called issue. Now, the word issue has been translated to be evil. Well, in my own traditional spirituality as a Yoruba person, that person called Eshu, is not evil. He is a person that is between the people and God. He brings messages from God to the people. He brings messages from God to the people. So when they do their traditional worship, they speak to him, and he goes and get the message from God and bring it to them. But when they were translating that word, they translate it to be evil, to translate it to be Satan, they translate it to be something bad. So today, only our forefathers, that now they are re-educating the young people to understand that that person, it was God's. It was actually the next person that brings messages from God. Now, if you look at the Bible, they talk about Moses going to God to bring messages. So that was the way it was. So it changed our conception of how we define what our psychology means. Now, but what I wanted us to, and what I wanted our audience to take from what we've spoken of now, is the idea of that unity, that there's strength in unity and there's power in unity. And that for people out there, when we keep talking about Africa should unite together, that is the way we should go, because there's strength in it, there's power in it, and that even if we can unite, I wanted us to pay attention, know that God will pay attention to us. God will pay attention to us.
And then God will confuse us again.
No, I don't think God doesn't confuse us. But look, we won't talk about that much. So somebody talks about, I'm going to read this comments for you, and that is Johanna. Johanna made a comment, say, spirituality comes in different dimensions. not only about religion. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. You see, people are so scared of the word religion, and the moment you're talking about anything, we are so scared of it. But when we talk about spirituality, that is why I said you can never be an African person without being spiritual. You just can't be. Go ahead.
I feel like I have not exhausted the other question. The other question was asking, when is this rhetoric of African unity going to be effected? You know, and this is where all this discussion and you realize language and religion, these are very, very, very major topics. And whenever you start speaking about unity, they will always
come in. So we can't run away from it.
Yeah.
So I want you to do something for me. I want you to define what Africans, because after having all this conversation, which is good, you know, we had all this conversation, we dabble into different things. So now I want you to define for us what African psychology means to you.
Let me finish with the other question about this concept and the arising discussion. This arising discussion of spirituality and the concept of God and religion. So what I would say, I wouldn't generalize and say we Africans, we have this or that, because you realize, as diverse as we are, and the languages you realize, and the traditions, and communities and tribes, the way they are in Africa, all these people, they have their own way of the way they observe everything, nature, God, and divinity, and everything like this. So I will not generalize, because this is also one way of people generalize Africans and put them in a certain group, and just have a certain closed idea of Africans. There's nothing like Africans. Like, you can just define and write your own list of what you think about Africans. We are very diverse. We are very, very diverse. So this idea will be, I would just leave it at that level, because you find that there's Christians, there's Muslims, there's so many religions that we don't even know the names. We only know about the most famous, the mainstream ones, the ones that are really supported.
And anyway, before you move to the next question, I think what I'm saying is this: Africans are spiritual. Being spiritual. It has nothing to do whether we are Christian, Muslim, pagan. But every African is spiritual, and what makes us spiritual is that there's nobody you see that is an African person that does not believe in the supremacy of God.
What is pagan? This word pagan, I usually don't even get how they try to say pagan.
What I'm trying to say with the word, what I'm saying is that pagan too is a religion. For those people that are pagan, that is their religion. They don't believe in anything. What pagan means is people that don't believe in, they don't practice any religion. They don't practice either Christianity. They do, but they don't practice.
Let me
explain, please. Let me explain. Pagan don't practice religion in terms of whether Christianity or Muslim. What they do is that they believe in nature. They believe in nature itself.
So that's not pagan.
So what is pagan to you?
Pagan, this is what we have to tackle. These words, the words that they are used to trick us and to create some idea and to create some concept, to just demoralize people. There's nothing like pagan.
There's nothing wrong in using, nobody used it to divide us. If we understand the meaning of it. Now, to some people, pagan could mean somebody that doesn't believe in God, but that is not what I'm telling you it means to me. So what it means is somebody that have a different belief outside either you're a Christian or a Muslim, but they do have a belief. They believe in nature itself. So
that's what I'm saying.
There's nothing wrong in believing in nature.
There's a very big thing wrong with calling people pagans. Don't call nobody pagan because they don't believe in what you believe in. Just let them be. They have their own spirituality and their own religion. Don't call anyone pagan, because this is one thing that I grew up learning about religion, and they were telling us Africans were pagans. I don't know. No. Yes, they have their own way of doing it. It's only that you don't understand it from your own perspective.
Joseph, you are defining pagan wrongly. So the definition of pagan does not mean you don't believe in God. What it means is that you believe in nature, and nature itself is God. Because the supreme, if you believe that somebody creates you, if we all believe that we were created by something, by God or by what, that is what we use for it. When we believe that we're created by God, that means you believe in something. You believe in nature. You believe in.
So we have to do away with this. This word pagan is a trick, and when we speak about psychology, we have to be very careful of what psychology, how it has been used, to put us where we are.
Yes,
these are the kind of tricks they are used in a way. This is called semantics. Semantic is a way of using words to trick your psychology, your subconscious, to have already some. You don't realize what is happening. I remember watching this famous Muhammad Ali.
Joseph, I'm not being tricked. I know the definition, so I'm not using the definition you are using. You see, things are defined in different ways. Religions as well is defined in different way. Christianity is defined in different way. Muslims are defined in different way. Every religion, whether it is, there's so many religions, it defines, to people define it the way they understand it. So because you define it the way you understand it, does not mean you are tricking other people. You have to figure out yourself. You have to find what the definition means. So, for example, today, we are talking about African psychology. I have my own definition of what African psychology means to me. You have your own definition of what African psychology means to you. If you are a Muslim or Christian, whatever religion or whatever faith you share, you have your own definition of it. So that does not mean that you're being tricked. It's the way you define it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that point.
So let's go back to our conversation so that we can leave that and we can move ahead from that conversation. So what we're speaking today about is African psychology. So according to myself, my definition of African psychology means what influences our thinking, our values, our culture, nature, attitude, and the choices we make in life. So what influences those attitude, our culture, our values, and those choices we make? That is the way I define African psychology. What is that thing that influences it? So what is that thing that influences the reason I'm talking to you here today? What is that thing that influences the reason I decide to be a symbol for preaching, talking about Africans, my identity as an African person? So what influences it? So, and what I want you to just do for us in summary is to tell us, what is your own personal definition as a person? What is your own definition of what African psychology means to you? And the word vernacular, we've talked about the word vernacular. What is your own take on that word vernacular? So there's two questions there. The first one is you defining for us what African psychology means to you.
So and vernacular. So starting with vernacular, starting with vernacular, vernacular is like your mother tongue, like the language of your tribe or of your ethnicity. So I would say that speak to a people. There's this saying: speak to a people with a language they understand, and then the message you are telling them goes to their head. But speak to a people with their own language, and the message goes to the heart. So this is the essence of vernacular. It is really important. And when we speak about uniting Africa, we should not imagine at any one moment to do away with our African heritage languages, because these languages are the languages that our ancestors have encoded wisdom that they have accumulated centuries over centuries over centuries of years since the beginning of time, since when they began. This is using their own dialect and their own language, what we are saying vernacular. They have encoded wisdom that you cannot find when you're speaking English or you are speaking another foreign, even Swahili is foreign to people who are not native to Swahili. So we should never imagine doing away with our with our African heritage languages. These are treasures. Actually, these languages should be treasured and should be developed. And every language in Africa should be taken as an opportunity or as an industry. Every language in Africa should be taken as an industry, and we should have language museums all over Africa. These museums for languages and institutes researching and developing and, keeping these languages alive, because this is our heritage. You cannot succeed when you are doing away with your heritage. When you speak about Swahili, yes, it can be accepted as a way, as a river that can help you, swim across Africa with different, basic words like habari yako or jambo, kind of, basic things, but maintain people's language, because this is their backbone. Language is where you preserve your culture and your wisdom. So that's what I would say on this topic of vernacular.
So tell us your own definition of African psychology, so that you don't.
I was also looking forward to speak about the socio engineering and the psychology and the role of psychology in unity. So we have to invest so much in psychology, and we have to bring psychologists in this struggle, because psychologists are the people who understand how to shape behaviors. You can trick, or you can I don't know which word to use, but people can really decide how people are going to behave, because they study psychology, and then they use psychology to influence them in very hidden ways, and then they can already drive them to do a certain thing, because of that is called social engineering. So, and we have to invest in this if we want to help to win this struggle. So African psychology for me. So what is psychology? Basically is a mental state, or the idea of what is psychology, like your mental state, how you see yourself, how your brain is, how you perceive things, how you believe, or how you base your beliefs. It's all about the mind. What is in your subconscious, what is in your unconscious mind. This is what shapes your decisions. This is what I would say. And we have a long way to go, because something have really been done. A negative investment has been done in African psychology, from the concept of religion, from education, from social engineering, and from like a very important point you said, the interpretation of this messenger who was a sacred messenger in the local people. It was translated to mean evil. This is also psychology. It is being done intentionally, so that you people run away from yourself and you hate yourself. So psychology,
and I will say that yes, it's been done, but some of these things are done in error. They are done in error because it's done based on an understanding. So not everything is done to deceive us. Some of them are done out of error. Yeah, some of them are done out of error, and because even within ourselves as well, we still have a lot to go. We need to. None of us know. We don't know everything. We are learning every day. We're getting to know new things every single day of our life. I wasn't where I am now years back. We had this conversation before we came live. I became aware of so many things about who I am as Africans, as a person, even as coming from my own dialect, my own traditional belief, as in where I come from, my own root itself. I discovered so much about who I am as I grew older, and there's a lot that has been hidden even from us, that if we get to know us, we become, we're talking about why do you want to hide yourself. That was how we started this conversation. When you can stand out, because the more we get to know about who we are, the more we are delighted to stand out in the crowd to say, yes, this is who I am, and then you'll be proud of it. So thank you for that definition that you've given to us. Thank you for, the comments that you've made, and thank you for how you've been able to, allow us to exploit the word vernacular and how important that is relating to our cycle as Africans, that it is important for us to keep our languages, because if you look at today, for Africans in diaspora, we've lost our languages. And even Africans back in Africa, people that lives in the continent, the motherland itself, a lot of people are losing their vernacular. They are losing their that identity that makes them African. So we so much embrace the Western identity that we even stop our children, that we make them feel that it is not cool to be who they are. It's not real. It is not originality for them to be who they are, and we have to allow them to embrace so much of that changing our language, whereby language is what makes you unique. It makes you totally unique. And why will you want not to be unique? And it's an identity that has to remain with us as Africans. Now, state of the mind, which will bring us to, bring us back to this idea of African psychology. I said, based on my own definition, what I believe African psychology means is that thing that influence, the word influence, it influences our life. Anything that influences our life in terms of our thinking, in terms of our curiosity, in terms of our culture, in terms of our heritage, in terms of the choices we make. You've made a choice based on the vision, based on that prophecy that you see about, about this idea of bringing people together, about this idea of making a change. And you've started this, your mission. I want you to tell everyone more about what you're doing. And now you are calling upon people to join you with this 12 p.m. call, whereby people, what is it that you want people to do at that point in time? Why do you want people to stop and think? So tell us, tell the world about your vision and how they can follow you to be part of that vision. And why should they follow you? So that vision or that prophecy that has been given to you, that you've taken on as a mission, that this is going to be my vision, and this is a mission that I'm going to accomplish, so that we can be part of it.
Yeah, thank you. So what I would say is it's not really me wanting people to do it. Is I take myself as a messenger who received information and did not sit on the information. I just give it to the people as it came to me. So using a number, I also after this I try to research and try to think about it, and I realized that a number can be a very good way to unite people, because no matter where you are, no matter which language you speak, a number 12 will remain number 12 across all dialects, across all the tribes or everything. So a number is already uniting us. If we think in terms of numbers, then that means we are able to have a language which is already speaking universally. Numbers are universal. So, and when it comes to this alarm, there are two things. There's a number 12, to use it in as a code, and to use it in your groupings or in how you're doing your stuff. Try to group yourselves. Try to initiate things as your friends or your family. Just try to come together and do something, support each other. Like, you do this, I do this, the other one does this, and then we come together and we put all our hands on everyone's initiative. So use this number to try to identify 12 people with whom you can do this. Do it locally at where you are. Do it with your own people, the people the people you trust, the people you can, you can, if you die, you don't have a problem. These people can also inherit your stuff, or like your friends with whom you can build each other. It's not a time of wasting time anymore. At this moment, we don't have to entertain useless relationships, useless friendships. It's a time to put our hands together and work together for a common goal. So, and when that's number 12. And then when it comes to the alarm, as it was in the vision, it's about a covenant to each other. Like when this alarm rings, it says, it reminds you, you are on a mission. You are doing something. You are not alone. And you're also sending your vibration to everyone across the world, no matter where they are. Yes, I am because we are. And this one is ringing in you all the time. And it's amazing. If you have this, you know, one thing about taking the action of setting the alarm is that you believe in unity. And you are striving or struggling to be united. And then you take a step of faith and you do an action. You set an alarm. It doesn't cost you anything, but it is a dedication. And it is something that now you have said, I believe in unity and I have decided to be united. I usually say unity is voluntary. You cannot unite people because people have to decide for themselves, yes, I have decided I want to be part of you. I want to be part of this, initiative or this. And there's also the other way of unity, which the political arena is going to take care of. There are people who are in the political arena. That is, they know how to do things in diplomacy and stuff like this. But at this level, my vision, or not mine, this vision that came did not direct me to politics. It came in society. Give it to the society, to social structures, to the people themselves. You as an individual, take it, embrace it, do it, share it with your people, organize around it, set the alarm in solidarity with everyone else who is, doing it. And so when people are also focusing at the same thing, at the same time, this is called collective consciousness. We all know what this can mean, We all know, like, the global practices that people say, we are doing this for this, we are doing this on a certain day for this, we are having 5 minutes of standing still to do what and what. So also, why don't we embrace this alarm that will remind you every day, when it rings 12 p.m., it tells you, I am because we are. And this is already motivating you. And you are sending your own vibration to the people everywhere. So that is what I would say.
Thank you so much for those comments. I'm going to quickly do something while we're both here together. I'm going to read some of the comments that we have on social media platform, on all those other channels, people that have been contributing to some of the things we've been saying. So one, I'm going to read this. This is from Johanna. She said, build and leave a legacy behind for your generation. So that is about generation wealth creation, creation of wealth within our generations. Let's have generations thinkers, people that are generational thinker, people that thinks about one generations to another, because if we need to start having this kind of mind that whatever we are doing, it's not just about us, it's about our generations to come. And when you start thinking that way, when you start doing things not just for yourself, but considering that there's generations to come. Now today, I know that in Africa today, most of our young people believe that the generations before them, they've destroyed Africa, and the youth are standing up now to say, we want a better future for the generations and generations to come. So thank you very much for that comment. So there's another comment that says, we still have a choice to shift our minds to what we want. So she's talking about our mindset, changing our mindset. And that is one of the things we've been talking about today. How do we redefine things? So, for example, we talk about the African psychology, how I define it, how you define it. we talk about we were talking about the African spirituality, the different type of African spirituality. How do we define it? How do people define that? Because today, the world has been made to feel that African spirituality is voodoo, is evil, it's something else. It's this, as if it's not something you should embrace. Whereas African spirituality has always been from origin. It's something we need to know about. We can't throw it aside. And it's okay to keep your African spirituality because in itself, it's about how our mindset, it's about how we change our mindset. And I know that today there's a lot of division when we talk about religion itself. There's a difference between African spirituality. There's a difference between when we talk about religion or non-religion. So, and what I think what is important is about us changing our mindset. It's about us changing our mindset. It's about us, we've been made to believe that religion only exists when the Western came to either colonize or enslave us. But religion has always been part of who we are as African. If you in the Bible, Egypt was mentioned. A lot of African places was mentioned there. So that shows that religion has been existing ever before the Western people came. So it has always been there. So yes, it's about changing our mindsets. And I hope that people out there, we can start, and every one of us here as well, we can start, redefining, and this is one thing that I preach all the time, changing the narrative. We're defining what we think we are as African. We're defining our identity. You have to redefine it. And you have to really, like you said there, Joseph, about us embracing our language, keeping it, because it's part of us. So it's about our mindset. So she said, psychology is a discipline. So our neuro-linguistic program needs a lot of work to shift our mindset. So that is the way she defines it, that our neuro-linguistic. So linguistic is still about language itself. Programs that when we design our program in terms of our language program, and there was one thing you said there that we should create, and I think I'm going to take you on that. We're going to do that together. It's about creating this museum of language. It's about creating this, and I think it's something I'm really going to do with you. It's about, because I'm thinking of doing an exhibition. I've done several exhibitions in the past, and I think this is a project we can actually take on, about doing this project as an exhibition of the Museum of African Languages. I think that is, it's just, and even looking at what she said about the fact that our neuro-linguistic programs need a lot of work to shift our mindset. So it's about us shifting our mindset and doing things differently. I'm working towards, I want you to start preparing for the 12 p.m. alarm. We will get there soon. So watch your time as I'm talking.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
I'm
10 minutes to 12.
With you. Yes, I'm so excited that we can do that with you.
You will hear it. It's here.
Yeah. So let me read more of the comments. So that just to say thank you to people that are sending us comments, people that are joining us, people that are watching us. Your comments means that you really love what we are doing. You are participating. You're making your own contribution, and your contribution means a lot to us, because we don't want to just be here talking without seeing people, engaging with us in this process. So nurture debates is really playing a part in Africa psychology. So that's what she said. She was talking about nature itself, that it's nurture that kind of a debate that really is playing a part in African psychology. Our thoughts, process, language, and programs have reflect in our behavior and how we interact. That's what I was saying, that what is it that influences our attitude, our behaviors, our interaction? What is that thing that influences the way we engage together? That is our African psychology. So somebody else talks about now, he talks about the disadvantage of religion. Now you see what religion can do. Every time you want to discuss about African unity, boom, religion kick in. he puts this word LOL. He was laughing. So I'm laughing the way he's laughing. So I suppose the colonizer are laughing at us. I don't think they're laughing at us. No. But look, I agree with you, whatever you say. If you think they are laughing at us, I'm not going to dispute that. But the most important, what I think the message he's trying to put out there is that when we talk about African unity, and we were talking about it, I made an example of that unity is strength and is power. You talk about how important unity is. And I think I also made the reference to the fact that when we unite, it calls attention to us. And I give you an example about the towel, because it calls attention. God pay attention to the people and say, what are they doing? He came down to see. So when we talk about this unity, it is really power. And that is where our power lies as Africans. Unity is where our power lies. And I wish we can do it. But it's going to be a long way. So I'm sure it's when it comes back to watch.
Let me grab a glass of water, please.
No problem. So when it comes back to watch, it's really going to be laughing. So by you, but you're not giving the gentleman. Okay, I am. Are you now discussing Christianity? Somebody says, are we now discussing Christianity? Somebody said, we all believe in God, but this Eurocentric. So somebody said, we all believe in God. And I agree with that we all believe in God. He said, but this Eurocentric religion has destroyed Africans. It is part of the grand plan to destroy Africa. So he believes that the Eurocentric religion is part of what has been used to destroy Africa. Do you agree to that, Karanja?
Well, if you want to really have some people like this, take some of their truths, take some real thing from them and confuse it somehow with some other things, and just these people will be looking at this thing. I'm familiar to this thing, but somehow it's like you're not getting it,
Yeah, no, yeah. So for him, so what he's saying there, Karanja, is that he believes that the Eurocentric, that is the European religion, was what is used to destroy Africa. I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, that's what he says. So somebody says spirituality comes in different dimensions, not only about religion. I agree. Yeah. And that's what I was saying as well. Yeah, I do agree with that. So somebody said they wish they can contribute in the discussion. Guys, if you want to join us, there's a link. You can click on that link and join us. If you want to join us, and we made it open. We want people to join us in this conversation. We have a link there. All you need to do is to click on that link, and I can let you into the conversation room, and you can join us. You're welcome to join us. So religion has contributed so much in the quandrum that we are now. Yes, it is. It is a significant role. Guys, so somebody wants us to not talk about God. As already it says, guys, live. God aside, he has already done what needs to be done. Okay. So that reference there, the key points they spoke is about one language. So somebody talks about one languages, speaking one language. Then you can't strategize using colonized language. So somebody said you can't strategize using colonized language. They will always counterattack every idea. Their goal is to keep African in poverty. Yes. So I think I totally agree with what he's saying. He said that how can we unite? How can we strategize without changing our language? When we talk about mindset, changing our mindset, it also could be defined as changing our language. So changing our language means, to me, it could mean changing the way we communicate, the way we talk. So that he feels that if we do that, then the Western, you still have a few minutes to go. I'm watching time.
No. I mean the way we talk, the way we communicate.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello,
This is a new way of communication.
Exactly. So he buys into the idea of us changing our language. He said that the goal of the Western is to keep African in poverty, but the only way we can strategize is to change our language. So one language is the way to go. That he agrees solely on one language. I'm not 100% agree. I think we should start with regional language, south, east, west, and then we can whether we will get there. But yeah, look, that's what I think, and he says what he thinks as well. So then somebody talks about losing the battle. You know, when we were talking about lost identity, you know, that you lose the battle by trying to change who you are because you are just who you are. So I think he's agreeing with what you say there, Karanja. That he agrees with the idea. You know, I knew you made a comment there, and he was agreeing to it, saying that it's a lost battle. Why do you want to change who you are when you know, like I said, when you can stand out? And you also reiterate that to say it is important for us to keep our identity, and because it makes us unique, you know. So when the rhetoric is Let's Unite as Africans going to be implemented? So we've answered that question. We've done all this. So thanks so much to everybody that is contributing. Now I'm going to give the floor to you, Joseph Karanja. You are our guest today. And we walk towards, you know, you tell us a little bit what we are going to do at this 12 p.m. And
Yeah,
thank you everybody that is joining us. Thank you so much.
First of all, I want to know why you are saying Joseph Karanja instead of Karanja Afreekahn.
Oh, because yeah, you know, you wanted your Joseph is your real name. You've explained it. And you've already explained to us that the Karanja Africana is your the name you use for your vision that you carry. Yeah.
Yeah. I am not refusing my name because it also has an origin, and there's why I was called Joseph. Joseph, you know.
You can tell us about that. We have 1 minute to go now.
Yeah, before the alarm rings.
Before the alarm rings, and let us know what we need to do.
So, you know, the naming tradition in most African traditions, like naming your parents. So I was named after my mother's father, and he was called, he is Karanja, and he was given the name Joseph because he had the gift of interpreting dreams, and he could predict future. And so when people read the Bible, they realized there's a person called Joseph who has these gifts. And they gave my grandfather this name Joseph because he had the same gifts. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So Karanja can also have the gifts without being given another new name from the Bible. Oh, it's ringing.
Ooh!
Yeah. Can you hear the song?
Yeah, put it up. Put it up well. I can take the picture. No, put it back. I did. I took the picture already.
I love this song. It's sung by Kingdom Rasco.
Yeah.
She's called Kingdom Rasco. It's a really beautiful song. Can you hear?
Yeah, I'm hearing it and I'm dancing. Oh, sorry, you can't see me dancing.
Yeah, put your screen.
I thought you'd be dancing with me.
I'm listening to the message and I'm holding the phone here.
Okay.
I love this. I love how she did it. Listen. watching the children playing. I love this song so much. This is what I use for the alarm.
And deception took away our happiness, took away our children, breaking our family, stealing our minerals. Oh mama, oh papa, your children are crying for
one Africa. One Africa, let us unite. Let us unite as one big family. One Africa, we are one Africa, Mama Africa. Mama Africa. Wake up. Rise up. Yeba. Yes.
Oh wow, wow. Amazing. I can go on and start dancing and dancing and dancing. That is beautiful.
Yes.
Somebody wants you to put the link of that music in the chat box, if you can, Karanja. Somebody wants you to put the link.
Can you? Are you able to display it like Kingdom Rasco, Mama Africa? It's called Mama Africa.
You can go on Facebook and put it, or you can send it to me privately, and I will share it with them.
Mama Africa.
Yeah,
by
the one.
Kingdom Rasco.
Yeah. If you send it to me, I can give it to them. And
Kingdom Rasco. So you can just put it on the screen, they can see.
Good. I'll do that right away. I'll do that. I'll put it there for people to see it in the comment space, on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. We're all over. Yeah, we're on Facebook. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So guys, that is it. If you would like to listen to that music, and if you want to get to know more about Karanja, you can speak to us here at the African History Educational Center, where you can, we can tell you more for African studies. If any of you is interested in getting to join us, if you want to be part, if you want to take any of our workshop, we have a masterclass workshop coming up, which is going to be run for the next few months. A few weeks, I think 3 months. So we are taking registration for people that wants to come on and join us in the masterclass. I'm hoping that Karanja is going to be one of our facilitators there. Karanja, you're into drums. You have this kind of is a Pan-Africanist and is a spirit. That spirit of unity that he has within him, that message that he has, we would like to share that message with everyone as well. I'm also going to share the link for those of you that like to listen to that music or get to know more.
It's called One Africa. The song is called One Africa by Kingdom Rasco.
Yeah, the song is called One Africa. That song is called One Africa.
By Kingdom Rasco. She's an upcoming artist. I just heard this song. She sent it to some WhatsApp group, and I loved it. I just made it my ringtone. It was amazing.
You make it your ringtone. So
for the alarm.
Thank you so much. We wanted to wait. We didn't have the plan to take it so long, but we wanted to be able to join you for this 12 p.m. Ringtone, messages and music. Guys, you can do it whichever way you want it. You heard what Karanja Afreekahn told us. If you want to be part of it, you can bring 12 people together in your community, within your circle, within your network, bring them together and do something together. But let the focus of whatever you do, let it be based on unity. Whatever you're doing, let it be based on unity. So today, I want to say a very big thank you to Karanja Afreekahn. Thank you so much for joining me on this 4SERIES masterclass on African identity. Today is our second episode, which we talk about African psychology. You'll join us again next week, Saturday. I'm going to have a different guest coming in. We're going to be talking about something else. Like I said, this is a 4SERIES masterclass, and each week we're going to talk about different topics under the African identity. But the key word is that, what is your African identity? How do you define your own African identity? How do you showcase yourself to the world as an African? How do you carry your continent, the African continent? How do you carry it? What do you know about the continent of Africa? If you want to know more, join us at the African History Educational Center for African Studies. If you want to know more about that, I'm going to put our email contact whereby you can contact us so that we can give you more and more about what it is. If you want to register for some of our workshop that takes place at the African Studies Center here in Ireland, we do a workshop virtually, so you can join some of those workshops virtually. I have that email, our email there on Facebook for anyone that wants to register for some of our courses. They are very reasonable price, so you can register for the courses. Register for some of our courses on African studies. And we will happy to have you there, participating. Thanks so much to everybody that is watching us live. All of you that have made contributions one way or the other. All your comments, we feature all your comments have there. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for participating. You will join us again next week, Saturday. It's going to be 10 a.m. in the morning. I'm going to be here with another guest talking about African identity, and we will have a subtitle topic that we're going to be talking about. So for me, Susuana Olatunji Komolafe, on the Conversation with Susuana, powered by the Afro Diaspora Center under the African History Educational Center for African Studies, I say thank you to everyone. Thank you to our audience, but most especially, I say thank you to God Almighty Jehovah for giving me the privilege to have this conversation today, and for choosing Joseph Karanja Afreekahn to be our guest today. We thank you so much for this opportunity, your time that you took out to come and talk to us, to come and engage with us in this conversation on African psychology, what it means to our African identity. We really thank you. And thanks so much again to everyone that contributes. I'm delighted that we are here together today. So, from me, I say bye. Ubuntu to everyone. I think I got that right. Ubuntu to everyone. So, yeah, bye.
Bye.
Thank
It was
you
amazing.
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. Bye, everyone.